Hey folks, welcome to the 30 Days to Learn Adobe After Effects course. My name is Vincent Nguyen, and today in this lesson we're going to be talking about the basics of motion graphics. And today we're going to be building a very simple typography scene here, kinetic type scene in After Effects. So let's get started. So here in After Effects, I just have a 720p composition open, and I just have my audio layer here. So let me just do a quick RAM preview of it. Welcome to the world of typography. So as you can see, we're going to be trying to pull in all the information we've learned in the past, whether it's audio synchronization or some basic typography tips, and we're going to be applying some textures to it and just making things look good, applying some motion blur. So we're really going to try to pull in all the stuff we learned in this course. So let's go ahead and start our typography animation here. Let's go ahead and create a new layer. I'm going to create a solid, and we'll call this VG. And let's go ahead and apply a ramp effect so that we get this really nice background here. And I prefer to use a radial ramp just because it looks more diverse than the linear ramp. And I'll set the start color to maybe a light orange color. And set the end color to a darker orange. But again, this is all just self-preference here. We can increase the ramp here just so we have a very nice subtle radial ramp to work with, and I like this background for now, so we'll stick with that. Let's go ahead and start doing our typography. So we'll go into layer, new text, and let's just go ahead and type in what I said. So let's listen to our track one more time. Welcome to the world of typography. So this text is going to be welcome, and we'll just duplicate that, move it somewhere else, to Control D or Command D, duplicate to the, keep on duplicating, world, duplicate, of, and finally, one last copy, typography. So what you want to do is you want to resize all of your layers, change all the fonts. You want to make all the basic physical property changes to each individual text layer before you rearrange this thing. So I want to change all these to a little more interesting font here. So I may change this to Century Gothic, may make it a little bit bigger here. I want to make it black. And then I want to change of to something else here. So maybe we can select a random font here, maybe franchise, make it a little bit larger here, and maybe set it to black as well. You know, maybe we should just set all the text to black just because, to save some time in this video, we'll just set it all to black. But of course, you're free to change all these to your heart's content here. We'll set welcome to, I guess, Arial Black is fine. We'll increase that as well. And then you may want to change to from Arial Black to just maybe Arial. Scale it down a little bit. We can change the to impact, and then maybe we can change world to this font here. So now that all of our text layers here have different type properties, we have different font families, different sizes, we're ready to reorganize our text so that they're in a more interesting position for animation. So I'm going to rotate this text here to the side just so we have some variation. I'll set this one to welcome, and then we'll just set welcome to, we'll set this one over here, and feel free to change all this as you're experimenting. I mean, it's the whole goal to kind of experiment around. Welcome to, and then we can go down to the, and of course you should be more accurate and more precise about these things. I'm just doing it kind of quickly here, but kind of get the idea. Welcome to the, and then we're going to switch to world here. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. World, and then we'll flip to of. We should flip to the side here, so set to maybe -90 or so to the world of, and then finally we'll use typography here. We'll move it all the way to the right. We'll scale up just a little bit, and we'll move it right here. Just so we get something interesting. And of course you can feel free to add more text, more backgrounds to it, but I think this is okay for what we're doing for now. We can always go back and adjust it. So now that we have our typography ready, let's go ahead and create our camera. So let's go to Layer, New, Camera. And we'll make it a 24mm is fine. We'll uncheck depth of field, we'll just call this camera. And it's warning us that we have no 3D layers in our composition, so we'll just ignore that. And we'll make all these 3D layers. And just for consistency's sake, I'm going to create a new null object. And this is just going to be the control so that we can control our camera a little bit easier. So we'll parent the camera to our control null objects. So now we're going to use the null to control everything about our camera. So now that we have that set up, let's go ahead and work on the synchronization of our audio. So just like before, when I mentioned to use markers when trying to sync up audio, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to RAM preview the audio, and while listening to the audio, I'm going to hit the asterisk key or the star key on the number pad to set our marker at every transition point. So here I go. Welcome to the world of typography. Welcome to the world of typography. And as you can see, we just have some basic points here, or basic markers. And these are probably not 100% accurate, but we can always tweak them a little bit later here. Welcome to the world of typography. I need to adjust this over here a little bit. And then we can delete this last point here. I think that was a mistake. Click and delete this marker. And so we just have a rough outline of our transition here, and we can use this to help us. So we'll hit P on the keyboard to bring up the rotation. We'll make the control a 3D layer so that we have a 3D camera as well. So let's just start by rotating the camera. Set it to 270 here, and we'll move the position down like that. And we may want to move closer to our welcome. So we just have welcome here. Welcome to the world. And we'll start right at the welcome point. Welcome to the world of. And then we want the camera to stay here until the next transition. So we'll hit a keyframe for the position here because we want it to stay still at this point. And also do the same thing for the rotation here. So just go back here, set a keyframe for the orientation, move forward here, hit a keyframe. That way it's going to stay still at this point until the next transition, which is right here. And then we'll just move down to 2. And then we'll rotate it back to 0 here. 2. And then readjust your camera a little bit. And then we want it to stay still once again. So we'll just hit a keyframe so it's going to stay still. And then we'll move forward once again to the next transition word. So to the. And for consistency's sake, let's just hit a keyframe for the orientation as well. To the world. So we'll move to the left here. To the world. And then again, keyframe for the orientation of. So we'll make it stay still. And then once it gets to the word of, we're going to flip it. So set the orientation over here. And we'll just set it to, I believe, 270. And then we'll move the position up to the world of. And then finally, we'll move forward a little bit. Keyframe for it to stay still. And then we're going to transition to the very last word, which is typography here. So let's just rotate it back to 0 and move it to the left. And then we'll just zoom out a little bit so we have some more variation here. And this is probably going to be very, very fast, but you know. So let's just do a quick RAM preview. Welcome to the world of typography. Welcome to the world of typography. So kind of fast. It's kind of my fault for saying it so fast here, but we can always easy ease these keyframes a little bit. So we can right click, easy ease, and it's just going to ease the keyframes in a little bit. Welcome to the world of typography. Welcome to the world of typography. And so I think audio-wise, I think it syncs up pretty well. You can see that it's very, very choppy, and it doesn't look that nice for some reason. And again, that's because we did not enable motion blur. So I want to enable motion blur for the whole composition, and then enable motion blur for the text layers here. And you're going to see a big difference once I RAM preview this thing back again. Welcome to the world of typography. Welcome to the world of typography. So that's looking pretty cool. Let's just do one minor thing before I end this thing. So I'm going to apply a paper texture to it all. So I'm going to bring it in here and set the paper texture above our layers here. And you can find paper textures online via Google or Flickr. Just make sure that they're royalty free and you can use them in your projects. I'm going to set the blending mode from normal to overlay. So it's just going to overlay the texture onto our animation here. And I'll bring in the curves adjustment to color correct this thing. And I just pretty much want to boost up the contrast for this thing. So let's just pump it up a little bit. And that kind of gives us an interesting feel to our animation here. Always nice to have a paper texture on all of our stuff here. And you may want to change the color just slightly to something more brown, I guess. And we can even set the blending mode to maybe classic color burn, just to give a really interesting effect here. You know, something like that. And then we can enhance this a little bit more by applying a basic vignette to this thing, just so we can focus on our text. We'll call this vignette. Make it a black solid. And we'll just double click on the ellipse here. Set the mask to subtract. And feather this thing out. And then hit MM. And then bring up the mask expansion a little bit. And then we can always decrease the opacity just so we can have a very subtle vignette focus on our animation here. And so once again, I'm going to do a quick RAM preview. Welcome to the world of typography. So that's pretty cool. You can see that we created a very basic animation using audio synchronization and some basic camera work here. And of course, you want to spend more time and tweak all this stuff. You want to apply drop shadows, different layer styles. Just play around with it. You can tweak it and make it look really, really nice. But this has just been a basic overview on typography and how to do some basic kinetic typography within After Effects. Hopefully you guys liked it. In the next lesson, we're going to be talking about third-party plugins and scripts within After Effects. So if you guys have any further questions, don't hesitate to leave me a message in the forums, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And once again, guys, my name is Vincent Nguyen, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye, guys.